Yes. Fine. Yeah. Okay. So good. Who said the definition?
Five, sir. Sirisha.
Shirisha, good Shirisha. Okay, so in the previous session, which we discussed about most important concepts which related to research and even different types of concepts, we discussed about variables, independent, dependent variable, mediating variable, moderating variable, and even exogenous variables and extraneous variables, right? And we discussed about which is scientific method, and even we discussed about characteristics of scientific method, and we discussed about basic elements of scientific method, and we discussed about research process, we discussed about scientific method ongoing process, right? And even we discussed about what is research methodology also. So now, which I'm going to be explain to you, most important question you are going to be get in the examination, right? What is research? Explain types of research. What is research? Explain different types of research. 99.99% you will get this question, right? So which is I'm expecting out of my experience. Okay, as I already said to you, right, even when I was teaching QABD and even BRM, then while teaching I'm going to give you important questions also. So please please note it down, right? And when you are preparing, focus on these concepts, right? Okay, so we have different types of research. So see, what are they? So we have 2, 4, 6, 8 types of research. Okay, so it's named like this, which is basic research, applied research, quantitative research, qualitative research, descriptive research, exploratory research, historical research, and even experimental research, like that. So based on the researcher and based on the type of work which you are doing, right, the people or maybe researcher may choose different types of research. Okay, so we have n number of research here. Then we'll discuss one by one. What is this basic research? What is this applied research? What is this quantitative research? And what is this qualitative research? What is this descriptive research, exploratory research, historical research, experimental research? Okay, one by one we'll discuss, right, types of research from basic research to experimental research. So first one, which is basic research. Okay, so what is this basic? The term itself is talking about basic research. Okay, any researcher, if he want to find, if he want to add something, then he is going to be do some research work which is called basic research. Okay, so like that we'll discuss each and every one very clearly. What is basic research, what is applied research, quantitative, qualitative, descriptive, exploratory, historical, experimental research. Okay, so what is basic research? As I already said to you, it is also known as pure or fundamental research. So any researcher, if you want to take any basic research, that is also called fundamental research. Okay, so what researcher is doing by taking this basic research, okay, so is mainly conducted to increase knowledge base. Suppose if any one particular researcher, he want to increase his knowledge, existing knowledge is already available, but whereas he want to increase some more knowledge which is not added in the previous research, for that which we are going to use this basic research. Okay, so it is driven purely by interest and a desire to expand our knowledge. So for what purpose we are using this basic research? Only to increase knowledge, right, expand our knowledge. Okay, so I think maybe you know very well about that, right? In the childhood you heard about that. Maybe your English teacher may say to you, if you know and if you are practicing to learn at least a minimum 3 synonyms, at least 4 synonyms of any one particular or any 4 meanings, then it may be added advantage to you. That means you are increasing your knowledge. Same thing I'm talking about here, the basic research, which is basically conducted to increase knowledge base, which is purely driven by interest and a desire to expand our knowledge, right? So even though teachers say that thing, few students may implement and few students may not implement. Best example, yesterday I gave one example, one problem to you to solve Modi method. Very few students solved. I may count on fingers itself. It is 4 students only. I don't know to name, but they got the answer. Good. Okay, but remaining students, they did not send. I don't know whether they practiced or they did not send. I don't know. But considering that only 4 students solved the problem, they approached. Yes, we got the answer, and they got some doubts, and even I clarified. Okay, so 4 students want to increase their knowledge, right? So it's the same thing which I'm talking about, basic research. Okay, so see, this basic research is also can be explanatory, right? Pure research can be exploratory and even descriptive or explanatory oriented one. Okay, it generates new ideas, right? So whereas same example I'm giving, right? Yesterday when I gave this problem to you, whereas only 4 students applied, they added some new knowledge, or they got some new idea and even principles and theories in different fields which they did not know about that. Okay, so you are adding knowledge, or you are increasing the knowledge. This is called a basic research. Okay, clear? Any doubts? So I don't want to explain remaining points. It's all explanatory, self-explanatory oriented one. Okay, so you can read this particular one. So I'm giving some glimpse on what is this basic research. Basic research is basic research is also called pure or fundamental research, and it will be used to increase your knowledge base and to expand your knowledge base. And this pure research, which is can be exploratory or maybe descriptive or maybe explanatory oriented one. Okay, clear? Now second one, which is applied research, right? So you are applying. So I'm taking this example to explain to you applied research. So see the last point under applied research, investigating which treatment approach is the most effective for treating cancer patients. Now I'm investigating, right, which treatment is the best one to treat cancer patients. Okay, is it radiation is the best one? Is it giving tablets is the best one? Or is it giving injections is the best one? Is it giving counseling to them is the best one? So which one is the best one? So I'm applying, and at the same time, patient to patient, treatment is going to be changed. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Exactly right. See, if any one particular person is suffering with the asthma, and my treatment is different. If anyone is not suffering with the asthma, then my treatment is different. If anyone suffering with any other disease, maybe a BP or maybe sugar or maybe a hypertension or maybe any other related thing, then my treatment is going to be different. So based on the patient, my treatment is going to be changed. Then based on the problem, your treatment is going to be changed, right? So when you are as a researcher, when you observe any one particular problem, and based on that problem, whereas which you are changing, right? And you are applying. So applied research is mainly related with solving practical problems rather than focusing on knowledge expansion. So previously basic research is only focusing on expanding the knowledge, right? But whereas applied research is related with solving problems, is related with solving practical problems, right? Rather than expanding your knowledge, you are giving some solution, right? And it is mainly used to find solutions to problems which occur on a daily basis and develop new innovative techniques. Now when you are observed few patients and while giving some treatments, and you may find some different method to cure. Few people may say about that, if you go to any private hospital, obviously we know very well about that, even if it is a one scratch, then they may say about that, no, you have to go to ICU and even that test and this test and all test, and finally they are going to be make a 2 lakhs rupees bill, and finally they may say about that nothing is there, it will be cured with the 20 rupees tablets, right? So everyone is facing a problem right now. If you want to go to the corporate hospital, then everyone's scared because unnecessarily they may create bills, right? So see, whereas here, which I'm saying to you, applied research, right? You are giving or finding solutions to the problems. Okay. So what is the main purpose of this applied research is to provide better technologies for humans to enhance their standard of living. Better technologies for humans to enhance their standard of living, right? Okay, so I gave example, investigating which treatment approach is most effective for treating cancer patients, or as even research. researching which strategies work best to motivate workers, right? Now, before starting this session, I said few statements to you, right, which is maybe motivating to you itself. Or else suppose people are not working in the organization, as a manager you should motivate, you should inculcate that habit. So which method is the best one? Is it a counseling, or is it giving training, or is it giving training on methods which you are using, or is it giving training how to use the technologies or how to use machineries, how to improve the skills? So human is a best knowledge and bundle of knowledge. Then how we are going to be use that, right? So applied research is mainly related with solving practical problems, right, rather than focusing on knowledge expansion. Okay, you are finding one best solution to the existing problem. Based on the problem, you have n number of methods. Out of 4 methods, which method is the best one, and you are finding that. That is called applied research. Any doubts? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Any doubts?
No, sir.
Yeah. So as of now, we discussed basic research and applied research. Third one, quantitative research. How many of you remember, even I gave n number of times this example, right? If I want to presume maybe one student is a good student, that is my assumption, that's it. But what is the proof? So I have to observe, right? If he is with the friends, then how he is behaving. If he is with the family members, how he is behaving. And if he is with the any friend, then how he is behaving. And if he is outside, then how he is behaving. So I may get some quantitative information, right? So any researcher obviously is going to be depend upon quantitative values itself. Even the same thing which you are doing, right, in your project work. If you want to check how many of the youngsters are interested to buy through online, okay, that is your problem. Then you need to get the data, right? So you will identify the customer base, or you are going to be identify the student base, and based on that you will collect the data. So numerical format. So quantitative research. Quantitative research is generally related with the positivist concept. So what is that positivist concept? Because everything which is going to be added into the numerical format, right? So which is why even I say to you, right, it usually involves collecting and converting data into numerical form, so that statistical calculation can be made and conclusions drawn, right? So see, previous statement which I made, my assumption towards one particular student is good, right? Just I observed, that's it. But where is the proof? That for that to prove that statement, you need to get the data. Same thing. Now you presume that most of the youngsters are interested to buy online shopping. Then where is the proof? Then you need to identify the youngsters and you have to collect the data from them, and then only it could be possible to you to use any statistical method. If it is any qualitative oriented one, now is it possible with you to find out attitude of any one particular person? Attitude is a qualitative or quantitative oriented one? Or behavior? Sorry? Qualitative oriented one. It could not be possible with you to calculate until unless the qualitative one can be converted into quantitative, then only it could be possible to you to calculate. Otherwise you may not calculate. You may say my behavior is different, you may say my attitude is different. Now how you are going to be evaluate that? Then again you need to convert that qualitative into quantitative oriented one. So which is why here a quantitative, it is a converting in the form of numerical, then only it could be possible to you to apply any statistical method. Either it may be a one sample t-test or two sample t-test, or maybe a correlation, regression, ANOVA, factor analysis, or any type of method which you know, right? So quantitative, the term itself is talking about which is in the form of numerical. Okay. So see, even just now I gave an example, behavior or attitude affecting the results. Okay, so example, by changing the circumstances being studied or causing participants to behave differently. So different examples we may give, right? Changing the circumstances being studied. or causing participants to behave differently. Okay, so quantitative oriented research. So researchers mainly depends upon this quantitative research itself. Okay, so as of now we discussed basic research, second one
Applied research,
applied research, then third one quantitative research.
quantitative research.
So what is the main aim of this quantitative research is to develop mathematical models or theories related to phenomena, or quantitative research is mainly used in social sciences, which is why even I say to you, every researcher is mainly focused on this quantitative oriented one rather than qualitative oriented one. Though we have even basic research, applied research, or maybe fundamental research, or maybe a qualitative research, or maybe any other type of research, but most of the researchers are depending upon this quantitative research itself. Then why they are focusing on this quantitative research? Because you are converting the data into numerical form, then only it could be possible to you to apply any statistical method. So quantitative research is mainly used in social sciences because it could be possible with you to convert into or develop into mathematical model. So see, if you apply qualitative oriented one, I'm not degrading the qualitative oriented one. Qualitative is also good, but at the same time, even when compared to the qualitative, quantitative is the best one. Sometimes qualitative is best, but sometimes quantitative. When compared to the qualitative and quantitative is the best one because you are converting that into the mathematical model. I think, hope maybe you know very well about the regression equation y equals to a plus bx, or y equals to beta naught plus beta 1 beta 1 plus beta 2 and beta 3, and even error term, which is indirectly I'm saying y equals to a plus bx, right? So then only people may accept your work. So as of now we discussed basic research, applied research, and quantitative research. Now fourth one, which is qualitative research, as of now is, I say to you, right, a qualitative is approach is usually related with the social constructivist concept, which emphasizes the socially constructed nature of reality. So best example, let me give an example here. Through participant observation, in-depth interviews, and focus groups. Okay, so see, I think, hope maybe in this final semester you are going to be attend the interviews. Now interview pattern is different because being as a placement coordinator in SNIST for the MBA students from 2013 onwards, I know very well about the various companies, how this they are recruiting, right? So now interview pattern is different. They may call you morning 10 o'clock and you will sit, right? And they may not take interview up to 11:30. Then after 11:30 or 11:45 they may call inside to the HR room. And what they will do between this 10 to 11:30? Any one of you can please tell me?
They will check out our patient.
Yes, exactly. They will observe you. Someone, because you don't know about the employee, they may sat around you and they're observing how you are behaving and how you are talking, because you thought there is no interview is not going on, and even they're busy with some other work or their schedule is different. You may think in that way and you are very casually behave and you are casually or talking with your friend. Then why people are waiting us and we wasted our time, and you are talking like that, and they will observe any one of the person, right, who is sat among you itself and observed each and every one, and he will write the points and he will give into the HR people, and based on that they will ask you questions. Behavior, right? So it's called a qualitative research, participant observation, in-depth interviews, or maybe focus groups, right? Clear? Okay, hope you understand. Qualitative research is the approach usually related with the social constructivist concept, which emphasizes the socially constructed nature of reality. So how it is going to be answered? Qualitative method try to answer why and how of decision making rather than what and when. The qualitative method tries to answer why and how of decision making, why to take and how to take rather than what and when. Okay, clear? So the data which is going to be collected in the textual format itself, or by observing the people, or how you are talking and how you are behaving, right? This is called a qualitative research. Then the fifth one, which is descriptive research. Okay, so one more important type of research which we have, that is descriptive research. What is this descriptive research? Is used to describe characteristics of an observable fact being studied. So I'm describing, right? Now suppose, see, let us take an example. Maybe any one student which I observed, right? Then I'm describing his characteristic. He's behaving like this, his attitude like this, and he's when he is with the friends, he's behaving like this. So I'm describing each and every characteristics, which is called descriptive research, right? So see, it cannot be changed frequently, descriptive research. So it can be said that they are rigid in nature, because it could not be possible to any one particular person to change the characteristic. The same thing which I'm talking about here in the descriptive research, right? So the descriptive research is mainly identify cause and effect relationship between variables. Descriptive research is mainly identify cause and effect relationship between variables. What is the cause and why he's behaving like that? Okay. Now we know very well about that. If any one particular person is poking you continuously, then you may be patiently observe him first time, second time, and third time, and fourth time you are going to be react. So what is the cause for that? Right? Even same thing which we did the problems in the statistics, y equals to a plus bx regression, right? If it is any changes in x variable, that is independent variable, then how far it has changed in y variable, that is dependent variable. Cause and effect relationship. Okay. So descriptive research, they cannot identify cause and effect relationship between variables. This descriptive research, they cannot identify cause and effect relationship between variables. Okay. They cannot identify cause and effect relationship between variables, right? So descriptive research answers questions such as who, when, where, what, and how. So if you have a questions in your research work, the descriptive research which is going to be answers the questions which is who, when, where, what, and how. But whereas when you observe here qualitative research, what and when, you may not give answers by using qualitative research. But whereas descriptive research, you can give and give answers for this type of questions also, what and how. Sorry, what and when. Okay. Clear? So descriptive research which is exist and may help to reveal new facts and meaning, because you are describing the characteristics. When you are describing the characteristics, then based on that you are revealing some new facts which is unknown, and you are giving answers. So what is the purpose of descriptive research? Which is only the observe and describe and document. Observe, describe, and document. So you're observing and you are describing his characteristics, or maybe a research, or maybe a problem, and based on that you are making a statements. So how many methods we discussed as of now? 5. Basic research, applied research,
Quantitative research, qualitative research, descriptive research.
Descriptive research. Okay. Now we have one more, that is exploratory research. So the term itself is saying about that, exploring. So you're exploring, you don't know about that, what is the cause of that particular thing, but you're exploring. Exploratory research is carried out for a problem that has not been clearly defined. Okay. So best example, which is corona itself, right? Now we don't know what is the cause behind that, who created that, and how come this virus came, right? People are making statements, their own statements, even countries also making their own statements. But now scientists are trying what is the cause behind that. And even you can take an example of tsunami itself, right? When it was happened, people defined in different way, but scientists defined in a different way. And even we know very well about that rains, and even earthquakes, right? Now people may say about that this is a earthquake prone area. Okay, so scientists may give some definitions for that, and they identify what is the cause behind that. So exploratory research is carried out for a problem that has not been clearly defined. So what is the main aim of this research is to gather initial information and which helps to define problems and recommended hypothesis. Okay, so you don't know, it was not clearly defined the problem, right? But you are gathering some information. Based on that, you identify the exact problem, and based on that problem you may make your statements, which is hypothesis, right? So exploratory research, based on this exploratory research, we may clearly come up with the best research design, which is talks about data collection method and even selection of subjects. So that is what even we are going to be talking in the next few minutes, research design. Okay, so always exploratory research relies on secondary research, such as review of literature, qualitative approaches, so a number of things, right? So when this exploratory research work will be applied, right? So when researchers lack clear idea of the problem, so they did not understand the problem, then you are going to apply this exploratory research. So to understand the problem and to give exact statements related to that particular problem, right? Okay, clear? Now historical research, we have one more, historical research, right? So the term itself is talking about, right? So historical research, it involves process of collecting and reading the research material collected and writing the document from the data collected. That's it. Okay, so what you are doing in this historical research, which you are collecting the data and reading the data, and based on the data you are making a document. So historical research examines past events or combinations of events to arrive at an account of what has happened in the past. So you will collect the data, right, based on the past experience or past events, and or maybe combinations of events, and based on that which you are deriving your solution. So all history related research work, it talks about historical research itself. Historical research is carried out to discover the unknown, answer questions, or recognize the relationship that the past has to the present, right, and record the assess activities of individuals, agencies, or maybe institutions, and assist in understanding the culture in which we live. Now let us take an example. Suppose we are following different types of culture, right? So how this culture came into existence, that is called historical research. Okay, so we may give a number of examples. Now last one, which is experimental research. So you are doing experiment. Okay, so I'm giving examples here, which is psychology, which is also experiment, physics related experimental, chemistry related experimental, biological experimental, medicine related experimental itself, because we don't know whether we are going to get positive or maybe negative. Anyhow, we are going to get any one result, and based on that we are working. And we know very well about that Thomas Alva Edison tried so many times. Because of that we are praising him, and we are comfortably living life right now, even though if it is power, switch it off. Yes or no? If it is power, switch it off, then we may not get light. Then if it is power on, then we'll get a light. So Thomas Alva Edison gave lives to the people to live comfortable life. Okay, so experimental research, which is sociology and maybe psychology, or maybe physics, or maybe chemistry, or maybe biology, or maybe medicine related research works, which is called experimental research only. Okay, clear? So experimental research is important to society as it helps us to improve our daily lives, right? Physics related, we know very well about that, and even chemistry related, right, experimental itself, and even biological experimental, and even medicine experimental itself. Okay, until unless they are not doing experiments, we may not get medicines, we may not get any products. Okay, clear? Hope you understand types of research. How many types of research we discussed as of now?
8, sir.
8. What is that first one?
Applied research.
First
One
one, basic
basic
research.
research.
Second one,
Applied research.
applied research. Third one,
Quantitative.
quantitative research. Fourth one,
Qualitative.
fifth one,
Descriptive.
sixth,
Research,
Explanatory.
next,
descriptive,
Historical.
historical, and last one,
Experimental.
experimental. So hope you understand. So each and every research, maybe see based on the problem and what type of problem you got, then based on that you are going to be apply. Either it may be basic research, or maybe applied research, or maybe quantitative research, or maybe qualitative research, or maybe descriptive, exploratory, historical, or experimental. Okay. So even in your project work also, right, you have to mention which type of research is you carried out. Is it a quantitative? Is it a exploratory? Is it a descriptive? Is it applied? Is it experimental? And so on. So okay, now so we'll go ahead very fastly with I think, okay, it will take time, right, fine. Research design. This is a lost concept in your first unit, research design. Okay, so let me take few minutes to complete this topic. Okay, so after that we'll go ahead with the QABD session, right? So see, as of now we discussed some basic concepts. What is research we discussed, types of research we discussed, research methodology also we discussed different types of concepts, constructs, variables, and even scientific research, research process, everything. Now research design is the most important one. Now see, where is research design? See, I'm dividing here into three, right? Pre-production, production, and post-production. This is what even you are doing in your project work, and even any researcher is doing the same thing. Research idea, he has to get first research idea, then based on that, then you are going to be prepare research design. This is what we are talking about here. So the rest of the things we'll discuss in the next units, okay, in the coming classes. Now my focus is only research design. So what we are going to be doing in research design as a scientist or as a researcher, so you are selecting the methodological approach. So what type of methodology you need to apply, right? And even operationalizing variables or materials, right? Which one is an independent variable, which one is a dependent variable, how to collect the data, and to whom you need to get the data, right? And crafting procedure, how to craft that and how to make it into the coding format, and even determining the sample. So how you are going to be determining the sample, and even evaluating the practicality of the research. So you are doing all these things when you are doing methodological approach, or maybe when you are crafting a procedure, when you are determining the sample, and when you are knowing about who is your sample size, and even population, and even methodological approach which you are using, or maybe what type of statistical method you need to apply for your research work, then it all points which is talking about research design itself. Okay, so now let me explain to you. So this is about the basic steps to conduct a research, as I already explained to you. So the before, what we are going to be do, selection of the field of interest, identifying and formulating of the problem, and even review of literature, and aim and objectives. This is before. And after, data collection and analysis, technical writing, and this is. Then in between is called research design, right? So research design is talks about methodology, what to do, how to start, planning and execution, testing, experimental work, and samples. Okay, so when you are doing research work, right, before and after, in between, research design is the most important one. This is a plan, how to go ahead with your research work, what to do, how to do, right, how to start your research work, planning and execution. So you should have a plan, and you should know the variables, right, and even how to test, right, which type of test we need to apply, what about my sample size, right, how to take that sample size. So everything is talks about research design only. Hope you understand. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So now, so even I'm showing you research design, right? It talks about data collection design, sampling design, and even instrument development, data collection and preparation. Okay, So research design strategy which mainly focus on data collection design, how you are going to be collect the data, and what is your sample design, and instrument means questionnaire, how to develop your questionnaire and what type of questions you need to include in your questionnaire, and after that which your data collection started, and based on that you are preparing your data. So what is research design? I gave as of now basic information to you, right? So what is research design? A research design is a systematic plan to study a problem. What is research design? Research design is a systematic plan to study a problem. So if you have a problem, then based on that problem in a systematic way, you are studying that problem. So what major issues you are dealing by doing this research design or by making this research design? So what, where, when, who, which, how, and why. What is my study? Where to collect the data, when to collect the data, and to whom it has to be collect data, from which and how to collect data, and why is it necessary to collect that data, then everything. So if you're able to give an answer for all these questions, right, then you are indirectly talking about research design only. Okay, so research design is a systematic plan to study a problem. Research design is a systematic plan to study a problem. Okay, so what is research design? So research design is standard definition which I'm giving. So as of now I give an meaning of research design. So research design summarizes the procedures of conducting a study. It summarizes and it gives a plan to you, at including when and under what conditions the data will be obtained. Okay, and see, it specify a plan for generating empirical evidence that will be used to answer the research questions. Okay, so one more definition which I'm giving here. The design of the study defines the study type and research question, hypothesis, independent and dependent variables, experimental design, data collection methods, and a statistical analysis plan. So as of now, even I gave an example to you, right? So how to collect the data, and when to collect the data, to whom, right? And based on that, which you are going to prepare your questionnaire, and after that, which you are collecting the data, right? And before collecting the data, you should know which one is independent variable and which one is a dependent variable, and what is your research question, and how, what is your hypothesis, and everything. Then based on that, then once if you have an idea, then you are going to be collect the data, and after that, based on that, you are going to be apply statistical methods. Then you may prove your hypothesis after that. Okay, so what is the need for research design? Right, as a researcher, you should prepare your research design, right? So until unless you don't have to whom you have to collect the data, and even who is your sample size, and how to collect the data, what is your instrument, then whether you have included the nominal data or maybe ordinal data or interval data, or maybe a ratio data, right? So you should have an idea. Okay, so what is the need for research design? Smooth progress of the project. If you want to do your project and it has to be go in a smooth way, then definitely you should have a research design. And the second one, yield maximum information with minimal resources, right? So even we are discussing the same concept in the QABD also, right? Using minimal resources to get optimal results. So yield maximum information with minimal resources, right? And even a better and more reliable results, and even validity also we are going to be get. And even it helps in identifying inadequacies and flaws before commencing the study, right? So even if you face any problem, because you already created a research design, then obviously you are going to be understand, and you may find better alternative for that particular problem, right? Okay, so a good research design should be consist of, it yields maximum information, right? Avoids collecting unnecessary data, because you know very well about that to whom you have to collect the data, right? You may not waste your time. And maximizes reliability of results, because you know very well about that, and prior you tested that. And it provides firm foundation, and even it helps organizing one's ideas, and even it gives chances to foresee flaws and inadequacies, incorporates by learning from others, critical comments and evaluation, because you know very well about your research design and sample size and even variables and what type of hypothesis which you framed, and based on that you applied different types of statistical tools. Then you are in a position to, if anyone made a statement or anyone pointed out, then you are able to give answers for those flaws or maybe questions, right? And even researchers examine data critically, because if it is a good research design, then obviously as a researcher you will examine data very critically, then you will get advantage, and data valid and verifiable, right? If it is a good research design, then obviously what happened, data valid and verifiable, and researchers specify limits. Obviously any research has certain limits, and if you have a research design, then definitely you may know your boundaries and even scope of your study. So this is about research design, and which is in the last concept in your first unit, right? With this we successfully completed the first unit in BRM, right? We discussed all concepts, right? Let me show to you, which is research concepts we discussed, and research methodology also we discussed, and approaches to business research we discussed, scientific method we discussed, types of research we discussed, and research design also we discussed. Do you have any questions? Any questions?
No, sir.
So if you have any questions, please ask me. So I'm going to start QABD right now. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Shall we go ahead with QABD?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So see, yesterday which we discussed about one important problem, that is called Modi method, right? Modi method is also called,
UV method.
what is Modi?
Method.
What is Modi? Modi means
Mode of distribution.
modified distribution method. Modified distribution.
Modified distribution method.
Modified distribution method, right? So even modified distribution method is also called UV method. Hope you understand why it is called UV method.
Yes, sir.
Because in the assigned cells, you're writing U1, U2, U3. To find out U1, U2, U3, V1, V2, V3, V4 are based on rows or columns, right? So we are finding, so it is also called UV method. Okay. So what is the procedure to solve under Modi method? Can I know the procedure? Any one of you? Any one of you? Okay, let me.
Sir, first of all, we have to take all assigned cells, sir.
Okay.
Then we have to
Start from the starting onwards. They did not give to you assigned cells.
assigned cells. Then we have to calculate assigned. We have to calculate assigned cells, sir. By you, if they are mentioned any method, we have to do the problem accordingly.
Ramana,
Or else
wait. Good. See, if they did not give any assigned cells, so you need to find out. To find out assigned cells, we have three important initial basic feasible solution methods, right? So what is that first one? Northwest corner method, least cost method, or maybe Vogel's approximation method, right? So least cost method is also called stepping stone method. Northwest corner method is also called stepping stone. Least cost method is also called lowest cost entry method, is also called
Matrix minimum method.
matrix minimum method. Vogel's approximation method is also called penalty method. Okay, so we'll apply any of this initial basic feasible solution. By applying that, we are going to get assigned cells, right? We'll get assignments. Okay, so then you are going to be start Modi method. Now Ramana, tell me.
first of all, we have to take all assigned cells, sir.
Okay.
we have to calculate values like u1, u2, u3, and v1, v2, v3, etc. by
Okay.
using formula Cij equal to ui plus vj,
Good.
where I represent rows and j represent columns, sir.
Good.
In order to find values, we have to consider one value as a 0, sir.
Hmm.
When any u or v value, we have to consider one value as a 0, sir. We have to assume that any value as a 0.
Okay.
Then we will get all u and v values by applying the formula.
Okay.
Then after we have to take all assigned cells, sir.
Okay.
There is a formula for all assigned cells. Dij equal to Cij minus ui plus vj.
Good.
Then we have to calculate all dij values.
Okay.
If dij values are, if all dij values are greater than or equal to 0,
Mm-hmm.
then we will calculate total transportation cost.
Okay. Good.
If any dij value is negative, then again we have to create a loop, sir.
Mm-hmm.
We have to create a loop.
Okay. Good.
For loop, we have to consider if there is in the place of negative value, we have to consider it as a theta.
Mm-hmm.
Then again we have to do again assigned cell. Then we will take plus minus.
Okay. So
Then
when
we will get
constructing a loop, two important points you need to remember. What is that first one? Loop has to be go vertical or horizontal. It should not go diagonal. This is first one. And the second one, loop has to be end with any assigned cell. Loop has to be end with any assigned cell. Right? So when you construct a loop, then theta will become plus and the remaining minus, plus minus like that. Then consider only negative sign symbol where it was represented, and you have to take assigned cells values in that minimum you have to take, and with that minimum, so if the symbol is plus, then you are adding that value, then if it is minus, then you are subtracting with that value, right?
sir.
Good. Next, Ramana.
Then after we have to again calculate u and v values, sir. Ui and vj values.
Mm-hmm.
After that we have to again calculate as unassigned cells, sir.
Okay. Good. Next.
Then after, if we get again any dij values negative,
Mm-hmm.
greater than less negative values, again we have to go with the loop and we have to do all the things for as usually, sir. Or
Mm-hmm.
else if all dij values are greater than or equal to 0, then
Mhm.
we will calculate total transportation cost by using the modified assigned cells, sir.
Okay. Good. Good. So when you are going to be stop the problem?
Until we get all dij values are positive.
Until all dij values
Are positive.
positive, right? If the dij values are not positive, then you are going to be repeat the same procedure.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So my board is clearly visible to you.
Yes,
Is
sir.
it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now see, as of now, we solved one problem, which is by applying Modi method, right? And even remember, if they ask you question like this in the examination, solve the following problem by using optimality, or maybe they may ask like this, solve the following transportation problem by using Modi method, or sometimes they may say about that rather than mentioning show the optimality. If they ask you show the optimality, then you need to apply this Modi method. Remember that. Okay, I repeated so many times, even in the today's class also I'm repeating the same thing. Okay, so see, up to now we discussed if it is condition m plus n minus 1, then it is called non-degeneracy. Okay, then it is called non-degeneracy. Okay, so sometimes when you are solving a problem, right, in the transportation problems, condition may arises somewhere you are going to be get degeneracy. Okay, so what is degeneracy? What is degeneracy?
In which the absolute cells are less than
So the conditions which you are going to be get less than m plus n minus 1. Less than m plus n minus 1. So you should get m plus n minus 1 condition when you are solving the problem in the transportation. Suppose if you get less than m plus n minus 1 condition, then that is called non-degeneracy. Okay, so if it is non-degeneracy, then obviously what you have to do? What you have to do? You have to make it non-degeneracy. Okay, so when it is called when it is called degeneracy, when it is called non-degeneracy, I think hope you know very well about this, right? If you get allocations m plus n minus 1, then it is called non-degeneracy. If you get less than m plus n minus 1, then it is called degeneracy. Okay, so what is degeneracy, right? So see, in the transportation problem, okay, so in the transportation problem, whereas the number of non-negative independent allocations, number of independent allocations is less than m plus n minus 1 condition, then the transportation problem is said to be degeneracy, right? So to solve this type of degeneracy problem, which we are going to be allocate an extreme smallest amount to one or more empty cells, of the transportation problem or transportation table, right? So usually where we are going to be allocate this extremely smallest amount, which is minimum pass cells, if possible minimum pass cells, which we are going to be add this extremely small amount. Okay, so by making that, then which you are going to be make condition which is non-degeneracy, then we'll solve the same problem like that. Okay, so that is extremely smallest, which is going to be represent with the epsilon, right? Okay, clear? So by making this epsilon value is nothing or indirectly, which is we are going to be say about that extremely smallest amount or nearer to 0. So which we are not going to be consider this for only one purpose, to make from degeneracy to non-degeneracy, which we are adding extremely smallest amount, where we are adding which is non-empty cells of the transportation table, one or more empty cells of the transportation table, where we are going to be add this extremely smallest which we are going to be represent in the table, that is epsilon. Okay, clear? Do you have any questions as of now? So this is the last method in the transportation problems, that is in the second unit, right? So as of now we discussed even linear programming related problems, and even we started transportation problems. Under transportation problem, initial basic feasible solution, we discussed 3 methods: northwest corner method, least cost method, and Vogel's approximation method. And now we are talking about Modi method, right? UV method, right, which is non-degeneracy. Now final one, which is degeneracy in the transportation. Okay, shall we go ahead with one problem?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Right, so I'm taking one problem here. So directly I'm taking values, right? Maybe they asked in the problem, which is by applying northwest corner method, find out initial basic feasible solution, then show the optimality. Okay, so I'm making here the table which is allocations. They applied northwest corner method and they got these values or allocations, right? 3 rows, 3 columns, 8, 5, 6, 15, 10, 12, which is 3, 9, 10. 3, 9, 10. 3, 9, 10. Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
8, 5, 6, 15, 10, 12, 3, 9, 10. Okay, so they applied northwest corner method here, right? So when they applied northwest corner method, they got allocations like this, which is 120 in the first one, 120, then x21 which is 30, x21 30, x22 x22 is it 50? Yeah, yes, it's 50. Now next x32 30, x32 30, x33 which is let me check this one. Yeah, 120, 30, 50, 30 and 50, right? Okay, so they applied northwest corner method and they got these allocations. Okay, so now any one of you can please tell me, is it degeneracy or non-degeneracy problem? How many allocations we got? x111, x211, x221, x321, x331. So 3 plus 3 minus 1, which is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is non-degeneracy. Okay, when you are solving the problem, right, meanwhile we are going to be get degeneracy. Then after that, how we are going to be solved, I will explain to you. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now what is first step? Any one of you?
Find U1, U2, and U3.
Find U1, U2, U3. So first assign cells. First assign cells, right? So you have to make table assign cells, right? Assign cells which is 8, 120, which is 15, 30, 10, 50, 9, 30, 10, 50. Okay, so U1, U2, U3, V1, V2, V3. I'm assuming U3 0, right? So I may find out this one, which is Cij equals to Ui plus Vj, which is x33 is equals to U3
Plus V3.
plus V3. So x33 which is 10, U3 0 plus V3, right? So V3 equals to
10.
10. So V3 we got 10. Okay, clear? Now next one, which is you got this value, then you can find this value, right? So I'm writing here x32 is equals to U3 plus V2, then x32 which is 9, then U3 you need to find U3 0, sorry, U3 0 plus V2, then V2 equals to 9.
9.
Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now when you got this V2, then you can find this x22, right? So
Yes.
I'm writing here, which is x22 equals to U2 plus V2, x22 which is 10, U2 you need to find out, plus V2 9, then U2 equals to 10 minus 9, that is 1. Is it fine? Right?
Yes,
So
sir.
now you got U2, right? Then you can find
V1.
x21 equals to U2 plus V2, right? So x21 which is 15, then U2 which is 1 plus V2, then V2 equals to 15 minus 1, right, which is 14. So
V1, sir.
sorry, U2 plus V1, yeah, U2 plus V1. So V1 equals to 14. right? Now you got V1, right? Now you need to find out X11. So X1 equals to U1 plus V1, X11 8 equals to U1 plus V1 which is 14, then U1 equals to 8 minus 14, then U1 equals to how much?
-6.
Minus 6. So we find right now which is assigned cells. Now you need to find out unassigned cells. Unassigned cells. Okay. So unassigned cells. So I'm making here unassigned cells, right? Which is 3 rows and 3 columns. So where we got unassigned cells? X1, X12, X13, right?
X23,
X2, X23,
X31,
X31. That's it. Okay. So we know the values. U1 equals to -6, U2 equals to 1, U3 equals to 0, V1 equals to 14, V2 equals to 9, and V3 equals to 10. Okay. Now, which is first we need to find out X12, right? X12, how we are going to be calculate? Dij is equals to Cij minus Ui plus Vj. So D12, which is X12 minus U1 plus U1 plus V2. Yes or no?
yes sir,
5 minus U1 how much?
-6,
Minus 6. So V2 how much?
9,
Which is 9, minus the plus which is minus. How much you are going to be get? Which is 3. 5 minus 3.
2,
2. So D12 which is 2. Now next which is positive, remember. Now next which is 6. So now I'm directly writing here D13 which is X13 minus U1 plus V3. So X13 6, U1 which is minus 10 plus V3 which is 10. So how much is this?
6,
6. Okay. So D13.
sir, V1 is 14 no sir,
Yeah, I think somewhere we did wrong. Yeah, V1 14, sorry. V1 14. V1 14.
plus 14 sir,
U1,
not minus.
U1. Wait. U1 plus V3, right? U1 which is minus 6.
-6 plus 10.
Yes. Minus 6 plus 10. Okay. So we are going to be get which is 6 minus 4.
2,
2. Clear? Right? Now next which is X23. D23 equals to X23 minus U2 plus V3. So X23 value which is 12. 12 minus U2 which is 1. 1 plus V3 10. So 12 minus 11 which is 1. Right? So 2 3 which is 1. Now finally we need to find out this. Okay. So now which is D31 equals to X31 minus U3 plus V1. So X31 which is 3. 3 minus U3. U3 how much? 0
0,
plus V1 14. Now 3 minus 14 minus
-11,
11. So see, check here, D12 positive, D13 positive, D23 which is positive, but D31 which is negative. So what we need to do? Next one, construct a loop, right? So where is our theta?
3x31,
X31, right? So now I'm making here, is it visible to you? Is it visible to you?
yes sir,
Okay, now which is 8, 120, 15, 30, 10, 50, 9, 30, 10, 50. Right, this is our assigned cells. This is our assigned cells. Right, so when it is assigned cells, right, where dij, which we got negative, where we got negative, which is d31, that is 11, right, where it is d31. So theta, here d31, it becomes theta. Now any one of you can please tell me construction of loop.
D312,
X31,
X32,
x32,
again X21, 22,
x22, good,
X21.
x21, then from 21 to x31. Is it clear? So
Yes,
why
sir.
I may not extend here also x33, but if I extend x33, but I may not close that in x2 x13, right, because there is no assigned cell. Okay, so which is why I stopped here itself. Now this is plus and this is minus, this is plus and this is minus. Okay, now next table, right, so in the minus, which you got 30, 30, right, so 8, 120, which is 10 plus 30, it becomes
40
50, 50 plus 30,
plus 30,
50 plus 30, 80, right, so theta, which is this, is
30.
30.
3.
30, right, this is 10, 50. Now here if you check here in the x11 and x32, whereas minus value here is also 30 and here is also 30, then 30 minus 30 it becomes 0, 30 minus 30 it becomes 0. Now any one of you can please tell me, because if it is 0 here and if it is 0 here, then this has become unassigned cell, right? Now what is this condition? How many allocations we got?
Degeneracy condition.
Degeneracy condition. So this is called degeneracy. When this is a when you got degeneracy condition here, then what I said to you, extremely smallest amount you have to enter into the any empty cells. Where we got in empty cells, which is 9 and 15. Okay, so in the 9 and 15, where I'm taking epsilon 9, because this is a least value 9, right? So I'm taking epsilon here and I'm keeping this 9. By doing this, it become
Non-degeneracy.
non-degeneracy. That's it. Now by making this, then you're applying the same thing. Now what is next procedure?
Okay. We have to find again U and V, sir.
Exactly same thing. Assigned cells Cij equals to Ui plus Vj. Unassigned cells Dij equals to Cij minus Ui plus Vj. Okay, so we'll do that. So let me make this table here. Okay, so I will rub this. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now next step, which is, so I'm making the same table here. Three rows, three columns. 8 x11, 8 120, 10 80, which is 10 50 at x33, right, and this is 30, so 30, which is 3 here, right, and this is 9, and we got epsilon here. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
If you have any questions, please ask me. No? Now again same, assigned cells U1, U2, U3, V1, V2, V3, U3 becomes 0. So now I'm finding the value of this, which is x33 equals to U3 plus V3, x33 which is 10, U3 0 plus V3, then V3 equals to 10, right? Then you can find this, which one? Which one?
X32.
X
32.
x32. So x32 equals to u3 plus v2, x32 equals to 9, u3 0 plus v2, then v2 equals to 9, right? Then you can find this also, which is x31 equals to u3 plus v1, x31 which is 3, right? u3 which is 0 plus v1, then v1 equals to 3. Okay, now because you got already v2, then you can find u2 value. Yes or no? So now
Yes,
I'm
sir.
finding, which is x22 equals to u2 plus v2, x22 10, u2 you need to find out, then v2 equals to 9, then u2 equals to 10 minus 9, then u2 equals to 1, right? Then we need to find out which is 1, x11, because we already got v1, right? So x11 equals to u1 plus v1, right? 8 equals to u1 you need to find out plus v1 3, then u1 equals to 8 minus 3, that is 5. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Clear? Now we got assigned cells. Now we got assigned cells. What is next step? What is next step? Unassigned cells. So unassigned cells, 3 rows 3 columns, which is 5 6 x1 x12 x13, then x21 x23, these places 1 2 3 4. Okay, so we got the values. So you need to find out unassigned cells. Okay, so first I'm finding, which is x12 is equals to u1. Is it equals to?
No, sir, minus.
Minus.
x12 minus x12 minus u1 plus v2. Okay, so x12 how much?
5.
Which is 5, minus u1 how much? Which is 5, plus v2
9.
how much? Which is 9, right? So 5 plus 9, which is 14. 5 minus 14,
Minus 9.
minus 9. So D12 we got minus 9. Okay, so there is further procedure is there, because we got 1 minus. Now next you need to find out this, that is D13 equals to x13 minus u1 plus v3. So x13 which is 6 minus u1 how much? Which is 5. 5 plus v3, v3 10. So 6 minus 15. How much?
Minus 9.
Minus
9.
minus 9. So we got both minus 9 and minus 9. Okay, now we'll check this one also, which is d21 equals to x21 minus u2 plus v1, x21 which is 15 minus u2 how much? Which is 1, plus v1 which is 9. So 15 minus 10,
5.
5. We got positive. Now D x23 equals to x23 minus u2 plus v3, x23 which is 12, 12 minus u2 how much, 1, plus v3 10, so 12 minus 11 which is 1. Okay, so is it optimal?
No, sir.
Why it is not optimal?
We got negative value.
So we got negative value again. We got negative value again. Okay. So see again here one more logic, right? So we got minus 9, which places? One is 5 and one is 6. Okay. So see, if you got only one minus, then you don't have an option. You have to go in this way itself. But whereas, listen carefully, when you take this is theta, when you take this is theta, that is x12, then loop construction of, see here my hand, whereas in the assigned cells previously, that is in x12, then you have to close in the epsilon place, which is smallest place, right? So if you don't have any other 9, so you have to take this one. But whereas we have one more 9, minus 9. Okay. So if you take this, rather than using this, you can take this. So there is a possibility here to close the loop, whereas in the assigned cell, where it is not matching with this one. So if you take this, maybe you are going to be get optimal in the next procedure itself, but whereas the answer which you are going to be get cast has to be, it may be you are going to be get highest one. So which is why I'm taking the 6. Now are you following? Shall I repeat again? Did you understand this concept?
Repeat it again, sir.
Listen, we got minus 9 at D12 at D13. Yes or no?
Yes.
So if it is minus 9 minus 8, then we don't have any problem. But we got both minus 9. Okay. And now if you check here, assigned values, right? Whereas in the previous one, okay, or let me make a statement like this. Okay, D12 we got minus 9, D13 we got minus 9, both minus 9 itself. So if you check here the unassigned cell value, which is 5, if you check here unassigned value is 6. As per the rule, you have to take this as a theta 5. But if you take theta which is in x12, but you have to close loop either from x12 to x11 and x31 and x32. That 32 is smallest epsilon, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'm checking one more possibility here. Now rather than closing here, you can go ahead here, but you may not close because you don't have an assigned cell in x13. So which is why I'm checking even other alternative, which is 6. Okay. Now if you take 6, see, if you take 6 theta, it becomes x13. Okay. Then you can close here, you can close here, and you can close here rather than closing at the epsilon point. Now my point is here, if you take 5, you will close the epsilon point, then you will get optimal. But whereas when you check total transportation cost, right, which is more when compared to if you take this x. So that is the logic behind that, because you don't know about that until unless you calculate. Okay. But as per the J.K. Sharma and S.J. Sharma, which they mentioned about that, smallest unassigned cell value has to be take as a this epsilon. But as per the logic here, if you take 5, then anyhow it is going to be close. But when you close this, then you are going to get Dij values, right, which is optimal. But whereas when you check total transportation cost, may be highest one. So which is why I'm saying to you, take the 6 first, then construct a loop, then again you are going to be get minus 9 at here. Then if you work, then finally you are going to be reduce the cost. That is the logic behind that. Are you getting or confused?
Got it, sir.
Got? So we'll go ahead. Now I'm taking here 6 as theta, right, to construct a loop. Now assign cells. Right? So assign cells, which is 3 rows, 3 columns, which is 8, 120, 1080, 330. So 9 epsilon is here and 1050. Right? So I'm taking here theta. Okay. Now loop construction from here to where?
X1,
X11. Either maybe you can go ahead X33 also. So I'm taking X11, X11 to
X31,
X31, X31 to
X33,
X33. Right? From X33 to
X13.
X13. That's it. Okay. So now this is plus and this is minus and this is plus and this is minus. Now our table, now one more table which I'm drawing here, right? So minus which we got here and here, 120 and 50. Which one is the minimum?
50.
50. So 8, which is 120 minus 50, how much?
7.
70. So it becomes here 50, right? So 1080 as it is same, but whereas here, which is this one is 3, right? Okay, 330. Okay, 350 plus 30,
80.
80. So it becomes epsilon same, right? Now 10 50 minus 50, it becomes 0. So there is no allocation here. Now if you check here, is again, is it a degeneracy condition or non-degeneracy condition?
Non-degeneracy.
Non-degeneracy. So same thing again. So calculate assigned cells and unassigned cells. So very fastly, which I'm going to apply here, right? So again, U1, U2, U3, V1, V2, V3. So I'm assuming U3 0. Okay. So when you assume U3 0, right? So you can find this V2, right? So which is
V2 9, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
write up directly, sir. It's process, no, sir.
Okay. Now any one of you can please tell me.
V2 is 9, sir.
V2 x12 equals to 9, right? So V2 9. Fine. Okay, I will directly write. Okay, V2 9. V1 is it 3?
V1 is 3, sir.
3. V3
V3.
we have to find out this.
Yes, sir.
So x11 equals to U1 plus V1. X11 which is 8. So U1 you need to find out. So V1 which is 3. So U1 equals to 8 minus 3. So it becomes
5.
5. It becomes 5. Now we got. So when you find this U1, you can find out V3, right?
Yes, sir.
So
V3 is minus 1.
so this is this value. I want this value, which is allocated value.
6.
Yeah, is it 6? Yeah, 6. 6. Okay. So x13 equals to U1 plus V3. X13 6. U1 which is 5 plus V3. Okay. So V3 equals to
Minus 1.
6 minus 5. 6 minus 5. It is 1, right?
6 minus 5. Yeah, yes, sir. 1, 1.
It's 1. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Now we have to find out which one. Which one? What we have to do?
Unassigned.
Unassigned cells. Unassigned cells. So now I will calculate that unassigned cells. So let me calculate unassigned cells, right? So where we got unassigned cells? So which is an x12, x21, x23 and
X33.
x33. Okay, so unassigned cells. Right, so D12 equals to C12 minus U1 plus V1. So 5 minus U1 how much, which is 5, plus V1,
3.
sorry, this is U1 plus V2, U1 plus V2. So how much is V2? V2 is 9, right?
Yes, sir.
So V3 we got 1. Okay, right. So C12 minus U1 plus V2, C12 which is 5 minus U1 5 plus V2 which is 9, 5 plus 9. So 5 minus which is 14, how much?
Minus 9.
Minus 9, right? Okay, clear? So we got minus 9 here. Now we have to find out here with this one, which is x21 equals to C12 minus U1 plus V2. Okay, so x12 how much?
Sir, that is U2 plus V1.
U1 V1 1 2 sorry 2 1 C21
U2 plus V1.
yeah, U2 plus V1, exactly, good. So C21 minus U2 plus V1, so C21 which is 15 minus U2 how much? 1
1.
plus V1 how much?
3.
3. So 15 minus 4 which is 11. Now next we need to find out this D23 equals to C23 minus U2 plus V3. So C23 or X23, anyone, right? So which is 12 minus U2 how much? 1 plus V3 is also 1. So 12 minus 2, it becomes
10.
10. Now we have to find out this, right? So what is this? Which is D33 equals to X33 minus U3 plus V3. So 10 minus U3 how much?
0.
0. V3 1.
1.
So 10 minus 1 9. So see, D12 we got minus 9, D21 we got 11, D23 we got 10, D33 we got 9. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So is it optimal?
No.
Because still we got D12 which is minus 9. Okay, now again what we have to do? Same
Create a-
procedure. Construct a loop. Okay, so where is that? This is become theta. Now see, 870, 650, 1080, 380, 9 epsilon. Okay, so as I said to you already, because this condition is going to be arises, which is why I said to you, so take any other alternative. Now we don't have any other alternative either to stop here itself, so we'll take as it is. Okay, so from here to here, right, x11, and from here to x31, and from here to x32, and from here to x12. Loop construction done, right? So this is plus and this is minus, this is plus and this is minus. Okay, now most important one. I think, are you following?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it confused? No, right?
No, sir.
Now see, minus, under minus, this is smallest epsilon value we don't know, so we'll keep as it is. That's it. We are not going to be change anything. We are not going to be change anything, right? That epsilon, the smallest one, is nearer to 0, right? So we'll consider 70. That's it. Okay, so this becomes 70, right? And this is 50, right? So 70 minus 70, it becomes 0. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Then x22, it becomes 80. Now this is 80 plus 70, 150. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And this is same. We are not going to be change anything. Now is it non-degeneracy or degeneracy condition?
Non-degeneracy.
Non-degeneracy. Same. Then again we are going to be do, which is we are going to be find out assigned cells and unassigned cells. Okay. So now we have to get Dij should be positive.
Optimum.
So now I'm taking here same assigned cells, right? So this is U1, this is U2, this is U3, this is V1, this is V2, this is V3. So U3 I'm taking 0. Now see, if you take this one, then how much this one?
V2 is equals to 9.
V2 equals to 9, V1 equals to 3,
V
right? Now you got V2, right? So you have to find out
equals to 1.
U2 equals to
1.
1. Then what about U1?
5, sir. That is 5.
Okay,
No.
good.
The cell is 5, sir.
Okay, cell value. Okay, 5.
5 minus 9
U1
is
minus 4. Minus 4.
Minus 4.
We are going to be get minus 4. Okay.
V1 is equals to 2. Sorry, V3 is equals to 2.
V3 equals to
10, sir.
V3 equals to 10. Yeah, exactly. V3 equals to 10. Okay. Now unassigned cells. I think I'm not going fast, right?
No, sir.
Hope you understand. Those who did not solve the problem and those who did not attend yesterday's session, maybe you are going to be get confused. So please go ahead with my recorded version or practice the problems. Then you will understand what we are doing. Right? Now unassigned cells. First one. What is that value? Which is 8. Then x21, which is 15. x23, which is 12. x33, which is 10.
10.
Is it right?
Yes, sir.
Now we have to find out this D12 equals to x12 minus u1 plus, sorry, 11. D11 equals to x11 u1 plus v1. Right? x11, which is 8. 8 minus u1 how much? Minus 4 plus v1. V1 how much? Which is 3. Plus into minus into plus, it's become minus, right? So it's minus 1. So it becomes 9. Right? Now second one, which is D21 equals to x21 minus u2 plus v1. x21, which is 15, minus u2 how much? Which is 1, plus v1 how much? Which is 3. So 15 minus 4, it becomes 11. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now D23 is equals to x23 minus u2 plus v3. So x23, which is 12. 12 minus u2 how much? Which is 1, plus v3, which is 10. So 11, it becomes 1. Now finally last one, which is D33 is equals to x33 minus u3 plus v3. So x33, which is 10. 10 minus u3 how much? Which is 0. 0 plus V3, which is 10. 10 minus 10?
0.
0. Now this is positive. D11, 9. D21 is also positive. D23 is also positive. 1 we got, right? And D33 is also positive. 0. Now our solution is optimal. Then you are going to be calculate 5 into 70 plus 6 into 50, 10 into 80 plus 3 into 150, 9 into 0. How much? Any one of you can please calculate. 5 into 70 it becomes 350, 6 into 50 it becomes 300, right? And 10 into 80 it becomes 800. Then 150 into 3 it becomes 450. So 9 into epsilon value 0. Can I know the total transportation cost? Any one of you?
1900, sir.
1900. This is your answer. This is your this is your degeneracy related problem. If you have any questions, please ask me.
So previously where we took theta as 6, sir, in the previous table.
Mhm.
If we take theta there only as 5, we'll get the total transportation cost more than 1900. So we are
Yes.
taking 6 there.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Simple. What we did apart from the construction or theta, which is a loop construction, what we did in the degeneracy problem, we allocated which is smallest amount, right, in the unassigned cells. Okay, as a theta to make it degeneracy condition 2. Degeneracy condition 2.
Non-degeneracy.
Non-degeneracy. So by adding that, it becomes non-degeneracy. Then again we'll go ahead with the same procedure. That's it. Only one extra thing which you are going to be allocate that epsilon to make it degeneracy condition to non-degeneracy condition. So with this we successfully completed second unit in the QABD. So from tomorrow onwards, which I'm going to be start third unit, that is assignment problems. If you have any questions, please ask me. Any questions? If you have any questions, please ask me now itself. Ramana, did you understand?
Yes, sir. But not entirely. Again, have to see the recorded version, sir, once.
Yeah, good. Go ahead, the recorded version. Simple. What we are doing, see in the transportation problems, when you are applying, when you apply initial basic feasible solutions, right, finally you have to check how many allocations we got. Is it m plus n minus 1 condition or less than m plus n minus 1 condition? So you should get m plus n minus 1 condition situation. Suppose if you did not get m plus n minus 1 condition, right, if it is less than m plus n minus 1 condition, then that is called degeneracy. So to make it from degeneracy to non-degeneracy, which we are adding smallest amount, that is called epsilon, right? So by making that, and that to where you are going to be allocate that epsilon, a smallest amount, which is unassigned cells, not assigned cells, unassigned cells. Because in the first step where we got in the two places here and here, right, which is x21 and x32 in the first table itself, right, 30 30, hope you remember,
Yes, sir.
right? So if you subtract 30 minus 30, it becomes 0. If you subtract here 30 minus 30, it becomes 0, right?
Yes, sir.
Whereas here 9 we have and here we have 15, right?
Yes, sir.
So a smallest value has to be become an epsilon. That's it. So why I did not take in 15? Because compared to 9 and 15, 9 is the least one. So I have assumed 9 and I made it that allocation which is smallest amount, that is called epsilon. Okay, so by adding that, then what we are making from degeneracy condition to non-degeneracy condition, then same again we are going to be find out assigned cells, right? Cij equals to
UI plus Vj.
Cij equals to ui plus vj. Then unassigned cells, dij equals to,
Cij minus UI plus Vj.
that's it. So when we are going to be stop, dij should be positive values. So if we get positive values, then we may say it's an optimal. Then we'll calculate total transportation cost and we'll show that this is the answer. That's it. So 99.99% you may not get degeneracy related problems in the transportation, as I already said to you, but anyhow it is better to practice. Only one difference, that's it. So whenever you are solving the problem, every time you have to check, is it degeneracy condition or non-degeneracy condition, especially in the Modi method. So if you are getting non-degeneracy, no problem, you will go ahead with the assigned cells and unassigned cells till to get dij positive. Suppose if any place, if you got degeneracy condition, then how it is going to be solved, we applied today and I have explained to you. So you are going to make unassigned smallest cell as a epsilon, a smallest value. That smallest value, it becomes 0 itself. Okay, clear? So with this we successfully completed second unit. So I think I have covered each and every concept in the second unit, from linear programming problems to linear programming problems. In the linear programming problems, we discussed given theoretical information, converting from theoretical information to mathematical form, linear programming problem. From there, after that, we solved a graphical method, maximization and minimization. After that, we solved a simplex method. Then after that, which we solved primal to dual. Then we discussed transportation problem. Under transportation problem, initial basic feasible solutions, right? So 3 methods: northwest corner method, least cost method, Vogel's approximation method. And to find optimality, we have one more method which is called Modi method. Modi method is also called UV method, right? So finally today we discussed degeneracy condition. So only difference between non-degeneracy and degeneracy, which is m plus n minus 1 condition. If it is m plus n minus 1 condition, then we'll go ahead with the assigned cells and unassigned cells till to get dij values all positive. If you get any negative, then again loop construction, and you know very well about that, how to solve that problem. Then if it is any degeneracy condition, then how to make it non-degeneracy by adding epsilon. Then you will make it non-degeneracy condition, then again assigned cells and unassigned cell till to get dij value positive. So with this we successfully completed second unit. So tomorrow onwards I'm going to start third unit, which is called assignment problems. So it's again, assignment problems is easiest one, right? You may get 14 marks definitely if you solve the problems. It's easiest one. I think in assignment problems you have a maximization, minimization, and even unbalanced, and even transportation traveling salesman problem. So usually this traveling salesman problem has to be keep in the second unit transportation problem itself, but it was kept in the third unit. So we'll discuss in the third unit traveling salesman problems. Fine. Any questions? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Fine. So good day. We'll meet tomorrow. So as I already said to you before starting the session, so every day I will follow the same thing. Based on the strength, I may take any one subject, either maybe BRM or maybe QABD. That's it. I may send link to you, and based on the strength, I may take based on my choice. Even if it is one student, maybe I'm going to be take QABD. That's it. Okay. So because we are running short of time. Fine. Shall we close the session?
Yes, sir.
A good day. We'll meet tomorrow.